guys, welcome back to my channel if you're new. So let's jump right into this. I recorded a video last week. I hope you went and watched it. If not, I'm gonna have it linked down below. I recorded a video last week where I was getting myself out of a reading slump by reading 200 pages per day. I wasn't really successful on all days. I did it, I believe, fully on 2 days that I read 200 pages a day, but I successfully got out of my reading slump, which was a win overall. However, while solving that problem, I discovered a new problem. So basically what I realized while I was reading that, or while I was doing that vlog, is that while I was reading, I got so distracted by my phone. So distracted. I feel like I would read, then pick up my phone and I would say, oh, I'm just going to check my email for work. I'm just going to do this for work. I'm just going to, text my husband back. I'm just going to do this stuff. And before I knew it, I would look and I'd be like, oh my God, I've been on it for 45 minutes. And that was 45 minutes of my reading time that I'm just never going to get back. And the phone has become such an addiction. So I think going into this week, I'm out of my slump and I'm going to try to solve the problem of endlessly, mind-numbingly scrolling on my phone doing nothing. So we are going to do the swapping my phone time with reading challenge. So let's go over the numbers. So I'm only going to do this Monday to Friday this week. And I'm going to modify it a little bit based on my needs. Here's me automatically making excuses. But there's a reason and I will explain. So I'm going to go ahead and put up here my reading time for last week total. And then we're going to go through Monday to Friday and I'm going to explain how I modified it and why. So Monday, May 15th, last week, I was on my phone for a total of 10 hours and 35 minutes. I think looking at this, I'm understanding how sick that is. That's a sickness. That's sick. I can't believe that almost 11 hours of my life was taken up just endlessly scrolling on this phone. However, we are going to slightly modify this because although that is sick, and it remains sick even after my modification, there's a few things that I don't think hamper my productivity when it comes to my phone. And there's a few things that isn't completely me. And let me explain. I do have a husband and not one, but 2 children. I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old who both do YouTube. Their channel will be linked below. They're amazing, family-friendly gaming. But they both do YouTube. And one of the compromises we made when it came to them getting YouTube, which I consider a social media, one of the compromises we made to them getting YouTube at their ages was that they would do things on my account. So my entire family, my husband and not just me, but both of my boys watch YouTube on my account. We also canceled cable a couple of months ago and we exclusively use YouTube TV, which all goes on to my account. Furthermore, when it comes to YouTube, I don't feel like YouTube is always hampering my productivity because, like I said, I have a husband and I have 2 children. It is very rarely quiet at my house. We have friends over, we have family over, and it's actually kind of chaotic and loud around here. We have a renovation going on in our basement. There's work going on at all times. So what I find that I do is I will take my AirPods, I will put them in my ears, I will click on my noise canceling, and I will listen to Harry Potter ambient music, rain music, or rain sounds, I should say, while I'm reading to keep me focused. So that actually isn't what this week and this challenge is supposed to do. It's supposed to increase my focus. Well, sometimes I'm using YouTube to increase my focus. Furthermore, I have an app on my phone called the Flora app. I talked about it in the last video if you go and watch that. The general point of Flora is it's a focus app. So you click, you plant a seed in the ground, and it slowly grows a tree during what you set as your focus time. If you touch your phone during your focus time, it kills your tree. And it's supposed to just motivate you to not touch your phone. Well, while I'm reading, I plant my seed, I'll read for 45 minutes to an hour, and I grow my tree. Well, unfortunately, that goes towards my screen time on my phone. So I don't think that I want to count YouTube or my Flora app towards my total because that's not something that's necessarily hampering my productivity, or it's my children watching their videos, or my husband watching, or my children posting. So I don't feel as though that applies. So we're going to modify this. I'm going to do my screen time, but I'm going to take out YouTube, and I'm not going to count my Flora app. So on Monday, May 15th, my screen time was 10 hours and 35 minutes, but I have some notes here. If I take out YouTube and my Flora app, which I exclusively use while I'm reading to help my productivity and to keep me from touching my phone, I would subtract 3 hours and 33 minutes from YouTube and 46 minutes from Flora, which puts me at 6 hours and 47 minutes for today, from last Monday, which would put me at 6 hours and 47 minutes of reading time today, which is Monday. So for Tuesday of last week, I was on my phone for 9 hours. However, if I subtract 4 hours and 12 minutes from YouTube, that gives me a reading time of 4 hours and 48 minutes for Tuesday. For Wednesday, I was on my phone for 13 hours and 45 minutes. That is so disgusting. And 6 hours and 25 minutes of that was YouTube. So I must have been home all day that day and just had YouTube on while I was working or running around. So that is 7 hours and 20 minutes of adjusted reading time for Wednesday. On Thursday, my screen time was 12 hours and 19 minutes. 3 hours and 36 minutes of that was YouTube, for an adjusted reading time on Thursday of 8 hours and 43 minutes. On Friday, I was on my phone for 12 hours and 24 minutes. 4 hours and 25 minutes was YouTube, so for an adjusted reading time of 7 hours and 59 minutes. So that's how it's going to go. I'm going to keep you updated throughout the week, but today, Monday, I don't even know what day it is. Monday, May 22nd, my adjusted reading time from last week is 6 hours and 47 minutes. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm going to tell you what I'm reading first. I finished my other book yesterday, so I'm going into a new one today, and I'm actually going to read on my Kindle. I've read a couple of physical books now. I read faster on my Kindle, and it's easier for me to read at night with my Kindle because I do have the paper light, so it has the nighttime reading light. So I'm reading on my Kindle right now, and I think I'm actually going to I've been looking kind of through my Kindle books, and I think I'm going to go into Scandalized by Ivy Owens. I'm going to put up a photo right here. My understanding is that this is a super cute, well-written rom-com about childhood friends who run into each other, I believe, when their flights are canceled in an airport, and I think they spend one night together, and then they find out about a controversy, I think, from their childhood, which could change everything. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading that. I'll keep you informed as my day goes on, but let's start the timer. 6 hours and 47 minutes. Oh my God. 6 hours and 47 minutes starts right now. Hey guys! So I wanted to come at you with a reading update. I am currently a little over 2 hours in. Let me pull this up and make this bigger. I'm currently about 2 hours in. I have 4 hours and 36 minutes left. So I wanted to tell you where I was at. I am currently on chapter 9 of Scandalized on page 134. And at this reading pace, it says that I'll actually finish this book in about 2 hours and 40 minutes, which means that I'm going to finish this book today, which is crazy. And I'm like sitting here being like, wow, if I didn't so unproductively use my phone, I could be finishing a book a day, which is kind of nuts. But before I get back to reading, I did get a package that I'm super, super excited about, and I wanted to show you guys on camera. So this box came in from Illumicrate, and I'm pretty sure I know what this is. And if I'm right, I'm really excited about it. So let's go ahead. I'm right, and open it. Battery died. So it is actually exactly what I thought. I'm going to show you because I'm super excited about it. Actually, I'm surprised at the size of it. I'm going to have to grab my other copy. So this is the Afterlight UK edition of Happy Place by Emily Henry. So this is done by Afterlight, which I believe is owned by it is owned by Illumicrate. I don't know exactly what it is. I think they do exclusively rom-coms as opposed to Illumicrate that I think does like a lot of fantasy romantasy. I think Afterlight is the branch of their company that specifically does like rom-coms, like romances, kind of like happy reads. But this is the Afterlight exclusive of Happy Place, the UK edition. And are you ready for this? Look at these edges. A moment for the sprayed edges. And then on the back it says, go to your happy place, I think desperately, only to realize I'm literally in my happy place. And he is here. The very last person I expected to see, the very last person I want to see. Win Connor, my fiance. And then it says Afterlight exclusive on the back. I saw this. I was like, I don't even care how much it costs to get here to the US. I need it. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's so funny though, because it's really little. Like our hardcover, maybe I'll grab my edition, but look at this cover. Look at that. Oh my God. This is the great. I'm so not regretting this purchase. And it's signed by Miss Emily Henry. I am so happy I got this. Oh my God. It is stunningly beautiful. Well, I'm super excited. I love this. Actually, let me grab, you know what I'm going to do? Hold on, pause please. I'm going to go get, oh, she is so beautiful. Sorry, I just saw Emily looking at me from the back, Miss Henry. She's gorgeous. Let me grab my copy of Happy Place, the US version from Barnes & Noble, the exclusive edition, and I'm going to compare them. Okay, so this is the US Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I mean, it is equally as beautiful. It's really a gorgeous book. But I wanted to show you, mostly to show you the size difference. This is a standard, this isn't large, like this is a standard size US hardcover from Barnes & Noble. Look at her. She's so petite and little. Here we go. She's so little. How cute is she? I just think it's so cute and small. It's so funny though, because it doesn't seem, it must have much smaller font. Much smaller font. That's why I was gonna say, because it doesn't seem much thicker, but there you go. Look at that. I'm so happy I bought this. It's like one of the best purchases ever. It's signed, it's gorgeous. It's the UK exclusive with the sprayed edges, and it was an amazing purchase. So back to reading. Hello again, another check-in. I just finished Scandalized on my Kindle. This was adorable. This was really, really, really good. I went ahead and I rated it on my Goodreads. I rated it a 4 on Goodreads because they don't have like half or quarter stars. But I think I'm going back and forth between giving this like a 4.5 and like a 4.25 stars. It was really good. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a synopsis on what it is. So basically, our main character's name is Georgia, or Gigi, and she sees a man who looks familiar in an airport when her flight gets canceled. And she knows that she knows him from somewhere. She can't really place him. It turns out that he is her old childhood friend's older brother, and she's always kind of like had a thing for him. And I'm not going to give away too much, but basically he's very successful now. So it's childhood friends, best friend's brother, one of us is famous trope. And they end up having a one night stand, and she is a journalist breaking a major story. I'm not going to give away what it is, but she's breaking a major story in London. And when you read the story, you find out that the male main character knows a little bit more than he's letting on about it. So it's cool. Not only is it like a romance with some super interesting tropes, but it's also kind of like, I mean, I'm going to go so far as to say it's a mystery, but there's some like intrigue in there where you don't really know exactly what's going on and who's involved and how he knows. So I found it really, really interesting. And for me, romances, I'm kind of picky, and they're kind of tricky sometimes because I struggle with knowing that most romances are written to be kind of like expectedly cheesy, or kind of even really like some serious dialogue, or some dialogue that's on the precipice of seriously cringy, where you just kind of read this stuff or read the timing in the dialogue and you're like, who talks like that? Like, no one speaks like that. Like, they've hung out for a minute and a half and he's saying all this dirty stuff to her, this really suggestive stuff, and you're like, who? Just no. So yeah, I feel like one thing I really liked about this was, for a romance book, I mean, there was like one or two moments or one or two pieces of dialogues that you're kind of like, ugh, yuck. But for the most part, the spice was really well timed. It was really written. And what I really liked about it the most is that it was fairly realistic. Like, their dialogue was very realistic. Their dialogue was more or less very mature. There wasn't that really annoying, immature, cringy character. So overall, I feel like it was a really solidly developed and solidly written story. Really well thought out. The storyline was great. There was a ton of different stuff going on, so it kept you intrigued. It was obviously a really quick, fast-paced read. And I really liked it. The dialogue was great. I really liked the characters. I honestly don't have much bad to say about this book. It's great. I would give it like a 4.25 or a 4.5 stars. That's really high for me. So, like I've said in my other videos, like 2.5 is average for me. 2.5 is a perfectly decent, perfectly normal, perfectly average, nothing mind-blowing book. This is getting possibly a 4.5. I think I'm leaning more towards 4.25 because I don't think it really did anything like super mind-blowing. But it was really, really good. I would definitely recommend it. 4.25. So here's where we're at. I have an hour and 32 minutes left for today. That's totally attainable. I could absolutely do that. I was going to pick up Kingdom of the Wicked just because, I don't know why, but it's just like jumping out at me on the shelf right now. But at night, it's a lot easier for me to read on my Kindle because I have the Paperlight, like I said, so I have a backlight on it. So it's just a lot easier on my eyes to read at night with the backlight on the Kindle. I also read a lot faster on my Kindle, and I get less tired. For some reason, I don't know if it's just the weight of a physical book, or maybe even as dramatic as this is, like maybe even like physically flipping the pages. I just find myself getting a lot more fatigued and tired, and I find myself like nodding off a little bit quicker. So I think for right now, just because it's late, I only have an hour and a half left, I think I'm going to stick with my Kindle. And I was looking through my Kindle library before, just like flipping through my books that I have, right? Just going through them. And this one is really, really, really standing out to me. Where is it? So I am now going to jump right into Heart of the Raven Prince by Tessania Odette. This is book number 1 in the Entangled with Fae series. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is YA fantasy. And it is a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella, which I'm really excited about. It's definitely caught my eye for a while. It is over 440 pages, so it's a little bit of a longer one. So I'm just thinking that I'm going to jump into this. It's going to be a really easy, quick read, and I will get back to you.
Blinking, you were beautiful, just like a flower.
Okay, so update. I was just on Amazon and I'm looking, and apparently Heart of the Raven Prince is book 2 of the Entangled with Fae series. Apparently book 1 is Curse of the Wolf King. I'm just mind blown because I'm usually pretty on top of that stuff, but Curse of the Wolf King is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Now, from what I'm looking, and Tessania Odette has said herself that you don't have to read these in any particular order. They're kind of in the same universe, but they're not like interconnected or built on each other. They're just all different fairy tale retellings, so I think I'm okay. But the OCD in me is making me feel like I have to read number 1 before number 2. So I'm kind of at a crossroads here. Do I just download Curse of the Wolf King? You know what? I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to keep going at Heart of the Raven Prince because I'm like already through a chapter and I'm actually really liking it. Like just in the first chapter, I can kind of tell that I like the writing style. So I think I'm going to stick where I am. And if I like it, I can always download Curse of the Wolf King. Okay. That's been my TED Talk. Back to reading. All right. So I did actually finish the 6 hours and 47 minutes last night. However, although I was physically present sitting there reading my book, I was not mentally present. Like the last 35 minutes, I was legitimately sitting there like nodding off in my chair. So although I was flipping pages, the comprehension was at an all-time zero. I could not tell you what I read in the last 30 minutes of last night. So we might have to go back and backtrack a little bit today. But the point is I physically read for 6 hours and 47 minutes. So today I'm going to go ahead and put the stats up right here. Today, after my adjusted reading time, I have to read for 4 hours and 48 minutes. So I'm trying to think because we have kind of a busy day today. My son has a doctor's appointment. We have a chorus concert tonight. We have a bunch of stuff to do. So I think I'm going to sit down and get a little bit of reading done now, and we'll see how far we get. Okay, bye. All right, so coming to you from not Tuesday, but Wednesday. A lot of stuff went down yesterday. I want to fill you in. I did not read one single page yesterday. Not one page, never cracked my book, but I do have an excuse. So I ended up having to bring my youngest son to the doctor. He's perfectly fine. Everything's okay. But that threw a little bit of a wrench in my day. And then my older son informed me that he forgot to tell me about a concert at school that made up 50% of his grade. And he needed a specific outfit that he didn't have. Welcome to teenagers. So mommy had to goose fraba, calm down, and go from reading in YouTube mode into mommy mode. But she made it happen. She made it happen. However, that resulted in not a single page read yesterday. So we are just going to give me some grace, give ourselves some grace, and a similar theme to the last video that I posted. Life happens. Life happens. It is what it is. The intentions were good. The intentions were there. It just didn't happen. So because my day got crazy yesterday, there were some unexpected things that popped up. Work didn't get done yesterday. So I woke up this morning, had a couple hours of work that I had to do that had fallen behind from yesterday. I did my Peloton class. I took a shower, and it is now 11:08 a.m. And I think I'm ready to sit down and give myself a few hours to breathe, give myself a few hours to read. So, like I said, let's just call yesterday a wash. Let's accept defeat on Tuesday and focus on Wednesday. So today, my adjusted reading time should be 7 hours and 20 minutes. Once again, I don't think that's going to happen because it's already 11 o'clock. And I have school pickup and I have baseball tonight. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but we're going to start the timer now and we're going to see how close we can get. We are still reading Heart of the Raven Prince. I'm literally like 3 chapters in because I didn't get any progress done yesterday, but I'm actually really liking it. The Cinderella retelling is strong. The characters are cute. I don't know too much about it yet. We'll see where it goes, but I like it.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could stare at you for 100 years and I never blink an eye. You were beautiful, just like a flower. I could walk with you for 1,000,000 miles and my feet would not
So I'm at this point in the book where our main character is interacting with her stepmother, who's, the evil stepmother. You know the story of Cinderella. She lives with her stepmother and her 2 stepsisters. And I'm at this part of the book where her stepmother has basically manipulated who I'm figuring out is actually the main character, the female main character of the first book that I'm skipping, which I'll go back to read because I'm like super intrigued by it. But she manipulated her into allowing the Cinderella character in the book, whose name is Ember in this book. So she tricked this other member of royalty into allowing Ember to come to the ball. And there's a whole story there. But she's talking to her now about the behavior, quote unquote, and the conduct she expects of Ember when she's at Prince Franco's ball. And the stuff that she's saying to her is so horrible. Like, it's so mean. And I know, you know the Cinderella story. Like, she's the evil stepmother and there's the evil stepsisters. But it's like, it's so hard to read. Like, I just feel so bad for Ember. I'm actually really, really liking this book. And it's super easy to read because it's Cinderella. Like, you know the main premise of the story, right? Like, I don't have to focus too much on that. So I really get to focus on like these particular characters and what's going on. So it's going pretty quick. It's really easy to read. I really like it. It's a really cute fairy tale retelling so far. I'm 15% of the way through the book. I think I'm on page like 60 something, I think. And I'm really liking it. So I have 1 hour until I have to pick my kids up from school. So I'm going to keep going and I will be back in a little bit. All right, it is now Thursday at 9 a.m. Let's update on last night first. Did I complete this 7 hours? I think it was like in 20 minutes. No, I'm actually going to put up on the screen here how much I finished with. I did pretty well, honestly. I mean, 7 hours and 20 minutes is a long, long, long time. I don't feel like I did too badly. However, today is our longest day. I'm supposed to read for 8 hours and 43 minutes. And of course, my lovely, amazing husband has today off and suggested a date day at some point. So he's exhausted. He's been working so much. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But the point is, the intentions are to read for 8 hours and 43 minutes. And we'll see how far I go. But I'm going to sit down now, get a little sun. It's a little chilly out. The wind's blowing, but the sun is out. So let's get a little vitamin D and read our book.
Blinking, you were beautiful, just like a flower. I could walk with you for 1,000,000 miles and my feet would not get tired. Where you go, I'll go, winter or summer. I don't care the seasons change, 'cause darling, I'll stay right here with you.
Hey again, guys. Okay, so it's officially Friday morning. It is 8:54 a.m. So last night I accidentally turned off the timer. I'm not entirely sure how I did that, but I hit the button and the timer stopped. You're gonna have to believe me, I had 2 hours and 13 minutes left. So I believe I was supposed to read for 8 hours and 49 minutes. I ended up reading until 2 hours and 13 minutes. So almost 7 hours of reading. I didn't make the full goal, but I mean, that's a lot. I had baseball, I had work. So, I did get up to 67% of the way through Heart of the Raven Prince. It is super cute so far. The writing's beautiful. The only criticism I would say, and we'll see if this kind of like continues, it's a little bit longer than it needs to be. I can already tell. I'm 67% of the way through, and it's a little wordy for me. Like, when things are over 400 pages, I want them to be worth 400 pages. Sometimes you get to the end of a 4 or 5 or 6 or 700 page book and you're like, this could have been 300 pages. This could have been shorter. So I'm feeling already that my impression is it's just a tiny bit wordy,
But the writing's beautiful. The story's great. I mean, you already know the story. It's a Cinderella retelling. So if you've seen Cinderella, you get the basic premise. She did take a lot of artistic creativity and change a bunch of stuff. So a lot of stuff is different. It's definitely more adult. It's definitely not like Disney Cinderella vibes. I'm really liking it. The character development is great. It is a little wordy. And sometimes, especially when you're doing challenges like this, where you're reading for 7 hours at a time, wordiness starts to feel a little tedious because you're reading so much. So I do find myself kind of like zoning out sometimes when it gets a little long, if you get what I'm saying. But besides for that, I'm really enjoying it. I'm definitely going to finish it today, and then we got to decide what I'm going to start next. So today, my adjusted reading time is 7 hours and 59 minutes. I actually have a very busy work day today. I do have a whole other job outside of this, so I have a very busy work day today, and I'm going to be on the road a lot, so we will see if I can make this happen. The good news is I have baseball tonight and then nothing tomorrow morning, so I should be able to sit down and read for a good number of hours tonight. So I will keep you informed. All right, bye guys.
Hold on, baby, I don't dance, but how I love to be around you. I'm not scared to take a chance. Yeah, I'm so happy that I found you.
Hey, so back for yet another check-in. I just finished Heart of the Raven Prince by Tessania Odette. I did go ahead and update my Goodreads. I gave this book a 3-star. And here's why. There were some things I liked about it. I thought it was a pretty solid Cinderella retelling, and I like that she didn't stick like exactly to the story. Like, there was enough similarities to the Cinderella story, the classic like Cinderella fairy tale, that you knew that it was a Cinderella retelling, but she added a lot of elements that were different, right? And I'm not going to give away too much, but she brought in vampires and selkies and all this stuff that really did incorporate the rest of the fairy tale world. However, that sometimes even felt a little forced. Like, it felt a little bit like there was just too much going on, and there were some parts of it that could have been left out. And I think that is the major part about where this book ultimately fell kind of flat for me. I'm telling you right now, there is 0 reasons. 0. None. There is 0 reasons for this book to be 504 pages long. The entire time I was reading, there were so many scenes that were either so incredibly repetitive that I was like, why are we reading about this again for, like, I kid you not, like the 4th or 5th time? But there were elements of the story that just, there was no purpose for them in the book. Like, it didn't make sense. It just continuously was touched on, but it added nothing to the story. There were so many parts of this book that it could have easily just been cut out. Like, I don't want to come across as like seeming harsh. I actually did like it. The writing was solid. The characters were solid. I don't really feel like there was any like super like stupid decisions they made that just make you roll your eyes and you're like, come on. Like, the characters were relatively well developed, but I just feel like she could have cut 200 pages out of this book and made it so much more of an enduringly interesting read. There was so much of it that I just kind of like, honestly, I was fighting the urge to just skim through. And I kept reading them being like, surely at some point in the book, this is going to be information that you need to know. Like, surely this is going to tie into the plot line some way that's going to make it important. And it just never does. Like, it just doesn't. The romance was cute. It was okay. This was like an insanely slow burn. I mean, I think on page 370 is when you even got like a romantic inkling or any romantic action between the two characters. So, I mean, it was an insanely slow burn, which was yet another, like, the whole book just seemed kind of long and drawn out to me. But if that's your thing, super long burns, super detailed to the point where you're kind of like, why do I need to know this? Why do I need to read about this again? Cinderella, like, fairy tale retelling, but with a really cool, interesting twist, admittedly, then this is your jam. For me, this was like a 3-star. I'm not entirely sure after reading this if I'm going to continue on with the series, because I did look it up and it seems like this is the most popular book in the series, that the others kind of haven't picked up as much steam as this one has, and they're all equally as long. So I don't know. I don't know if this series is for me. I might give it like one more book. I'll read through the fairy tales. I'll choose which one. I might give it one more book, but I just don't know if this is ultimately for me. However, I can see where some people would love it, and it is pretty brilliantly done. It's a very cool concept. So, all right. So, moving on. I have an hour and 5 minutes left for today. I'm getting really, really, really sleepy, but I am going to pick up my next book. And off camera, I kind of went through everything. I kind of was trying to like decide what I wanted to do and what my feel was. I'm going to be honest with you, that has fantasied me out for a bit. I'm not going to pick up another fantasy right now. I was kind of between like thriller, mystery, or romance. And I think I'm ultimately going to go ahead and pick up Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I have never read a book by Lynn Painter before, and I've really wanted to dive into her stuff, and I've heard that this is the first of her 2 adult romance books, less YA, more adult romance books. I think I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to see how this goes. I'll probably read like the first couple of chapters, and if it doesn't call to me, if it doesn't immediately interest me, I might switch, and I'll update you if I do. But for right now, I think this is what I'm going to go into. I'm going to try to fight my way and stay awake for the next hour, but I'm not making any promises. So I will update you in the morning to do my outro for this video and say goodbye. All right. Bye, guys.
Hold on, baby, I don't dance, but how I love to be around you. I'm not scared to take a chance. Yeah, I'm so happy that I found you. And you know that I'm yours, alright. You can tell by the look in my eyes. Don't wanna play it cool, I gave it straight from the heart. Oh, how I
All right,
love
so there you
to
have
be
it. We are officially done with this challenge for the week. As usual, things didn't go exactly the way they were supposed to. Life kind of got involved a little bit, but that's it. And all that matters is that my screen time this week was essentially 0 outside of like YouTube TV, which the family uses. And like, I was just actually cleaning and I was listening to some Taylor Swift piano ambient music. So I don't count that because I do that while I'm productive. So outside of those like productivity boosters, I feel like this was actually pretty successful. Because I was doing that between Monday and Friday, I actually did finish 2 books and I'm 80% or 80 pages into another one. So let's quickly go over what I read. So we started out reading Scandalized by Ivy Owens. This was on my Kindle. This was such a surprise. I actually really, really, really liked this book. I gave a little bit of a reason why, but just quickly, I believe I gave it a 4.25 on my Goodreads. I really did like it. I loved the characters. I loved the plot line. There was minimal cringiness for a rom-com. The spice was good. I really liked it. Great book. Highly suggest it. Then I went into Heart of the Raven Prince by Tessania Odette. I feel like in my previous clip where I reviewed it, I came across like I was being super negative. I actually really enjoyed this book. It was above average. Like I've said in every single video and will continue to say, on a scale of 0 to 5, 2.5 is average. And I gave this a 3 star on Goodreads. It was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it. There's just, not every book is meant to be a 4 or a 5 star. And for me, this was a 3-star book for the reasons I've actually listed before. Now, in the last hour and a half last night, which I did complete, I am 80 pages into Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter, and I'm loving this. I'm loving it. I kind of had a feeling I would like Lynn Painter's writing, and I think I'm right. Like 80 pages in, I'm getting the feeling that this might be like my speed for writing. I love it. It's really cute. I'm not going to give a full synopsis right now because obviously only 80 pages in. But for right now, the gist of what I've gotten 80 pages in is that our main character, Olivia, is really down on her luck. She's had actually a really bad day, a really bad week. And because of that, she goes to live with her brother and his best friend, who's his roommate. And throughout that bad week, she gets a text from a number, it's a wrong number, thinking he's talking to somebody else, or it's talking to somebody else. I don't know. Could be a girl, could be a guy, I'm not sure. gets a text from a wrong number, and she starts texting back and forth with this person who we don't know who it is. And that's pretty much as far as I've gotten so far, but I really, really, really like it. So thanks so much for sticking around, guys. I hope you loved it, and come back for my next one. Bye.